Yeah, 4,000.
Yeah. The difference is expenses, Judge.
I don't care what you spend your money on. It's not how much money you make in life, it's how much money you spend. Like,
Well, just I think for
you
the
can spend frugally, you can spend great. If you're buying Gucci wallets and Louis Vuitton belts, that's your problem.
I think the standard to determine indigency, you have to look at what his income is, what his obligations are, and his expenses.
It makes absolutely no sense, because what if someone gets to drive a BMW, right? You're telling me that they still can be in poverty?
Well,
They make
Judge,
$4,000 a month, they could buy a BMW, and they're still considered poverty because they make, at the end of the day, take home $10?
well, I do have the indigency determination standards for determining indigency, and
Sure.
you are supposed to take that into account. So I think it does matter what the take home is. There's presumption.
Necessary expenses, right?
And again, I just want you to know I'm going to make the case. And so if you wanted to talk to Ramirez, Judge Ramirez beforehand, I just wanted to.
Yeah. Let me do this. Let me help them because they're on bond.
Sure.
That case is not on bond, but we can talk about this after.
Well, Judge, I have Mr. Argudin. I was told I need to approach for bail.
Just help argue.
Page 22.
I was appointed to him today. My understanding is he picked up new cases after he had the first case.
Yes, yeah. So he's on, where is Mr. Argudin? Do you mind?
Hey everybody, welcome to American Courts. I put that case on there first. It was just a short discussion between Judge Fleischer and the lawyer, because I wanted to show how Judge Fleischer thinks on that. He's all for a lawyer advocating for his client, but he's got to think better than that. He's got to think higher than that. I've got Tokyo Gaijin going to come on in a little bit. We're going to discuss some Judge Boyd stuff. We did that at a special request for Fozzie. So I'm going to throw up a short little Judge Fleischer clip, and then we'll get to the Tokyo Gaijin thing, because I've got a few clips for that one also. Thank you.
Hi, Rachel. No. I just will have state's bond conditions. There's no need to monitor.
Page 3, top of page 3.
Got it. Mr. Batiste? Mr. Batiste, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Officers in the Major Offenders Division were executing an unrelated arrest search warrant at 8804 Almeda Genoa Road in Harris County, Texas. While conducting a projective sweep of the parking lot, officers observed in plain view an old unholstered pistol sitting on the front passenger seat of the defendant's vehicle. Officers also observed marijuana in a clear bag on the seat. Employees of the store identified the car as the defendant's, and the defendant admitted it was his car. The officers conducted a search and found 0.21 grams of marijuana, 0.7 grams of Percocet in the glove box, and 0.5 grams of Xanax inside the glove box. I believe
he's an employee
Yes,
of the store, and I think that he was inside the store at the time. I think they were walking past and they saw the gun in plain view on the passenger seat, and then went inside and asked whose car it was.
Mr. Batiste, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. No more. No slinging. If I find that you're selling drugs, if I find that you're doing something nefarious in my city, guess what happens? I'm sending you now for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. You're to come right back. If you don't come back, if you fail to take the drug test, I will revoke your bond and I'm going to make it sky high. Do you understand? Once you get back and when I see what's in your system, at that point, we'll talk about your bond conditions. As it stands now, no alcohol, no dope, and I'm going to test you like crazy. Do you understand? How old are you?
19.
Stops now. I mean, any marijuana as well. If I find that you're using anything, CBD oil, gummies, vape pens, whatever it is, I'm going to keep you with me, and I'm going to keep you with me until it comes a negative, and then I'm going to let you back out. and you test positive again, boom, right back until, and we'll play this game until you're nice and clean and sober. Okay, so we'll send him now. We can come have him back. Brock is representing him, so we'll, okay.
I had an attorney, but
I got it. I know. I see. And I know Brock well. Been dancing with him for over a decade. So, but right now I want to know what, if anything, is in your system, because you're 19. That's it. It stops today. So we'll send you, come right back. Did you ever talk to Brock?
So he's starting trial and the paralegal emailed me and said
Okay.
he would go over the conditions.
No more smoking weed. I
sorry.
will test you 40 days from today. If I find that you continue to smoke weed, I'm going to put you in jail. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You need to get your GED. You need to better yourself. That's the only way it starts, with getting your GED.
I work on that.
How?
I'm getting a problem. Should get my GED. Start smoking.
I want to make sure that that happens. So I'm going to bring you back in 2 weeks, and I want to see what you've done to get your GED. If you've done nothing, life's not going to go well. Do you understand? Okay. I'll see you in 2 weeks. All I'm asking you to do is get your GED. You can't go through life at the minimum with a high school diploma. All right? Come on, make me proud, man.
Hey, Lane, listen, get your friend there and check. Well, he's welcome to the crowd. He just got to find something else to talk about. I know that's all they do in Amsterdam, but find something else to talk about there. Hey to everybody. Hey, Nan, how are you doing? I'm going to get better at this reading and talking at the same time, but we got Judge Middleton, Judge Hayward, Judge Fleischer, Judge Boyd. We got a whole pile of them tonight. Let's jump over to Judge Hayward. I'm still waiting to see if I can get Tokyo online. We'll do it.
Who's driving? Okay. All right, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Brendan Samuel Haley, 2022 CR 01164, for having a weapon under the age of 18. You are represented by Attorney Natalie Gatson, who is here with you. Ms. Gatson, you've indicated that you and your client are ready for a plea on this case. What does your client plead to the sole offense on the calendar?
Judge, please repeat that question.
What does your client plead to the sole offense on the calendar?
Nolo.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about October the 1st of 2021, pursuant to the probable cause affidavit by Officer Jay Jackson, while walking in the state of Georgia, Officer Jackson observed the defendant in possession of a handgun while under the age of 18 years old. The defendant stated that he was holding the handgun for one of his friends. The defendant said that while walking to a house, a dog ran across the yard, chased after him, and that's when he removed the handgun from his pocket and shot the dog in the paw. At the time of the incident, the defendant was 17 years old, and this incident did occur in Clayton County, Georgia. Your Honor, for the case on the calendar, the state's offer is 12 months probation, a fine of $500 to be suspended, 40 hours of community service for the defendant to complete the gun safety course, and everything can terminate upon completion. Also, Your Honor, there is another case that the state will also be non-processing. It's not on the calendar, but I will give you that case number.
I did recall that he had another case. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. So it's 2023 CR 01752. The state is going to non-process that case in exchange for the defendant's plea today.
All right. Ms. Gatson, anything on behalf of Mr. Haley?
Judge, we just ask that you accept the recommendation by the state.
All right. Mr. Haley, you know, we've been back and forth on this. You've been here a few times. And so hopefully you will think things through differently. Number one, you're costing your mama time and money. Um, she's had to take time from whatever her activities are to come to court with you. She's had to hire Miss Gatson to represent you, all because you doing stuff that you shouldn't do. Number one, at 18 and under 18, you don't need a gun. What you need a gun for? Number two, you shot a dog. You discharging a weapon. You could have hit anybody. The bullet could have ricocheted and killed somebody. I just heard a case on the earlier calendar where this gentleman was carrying his own gun, legal carry, and somebody pulled his gun out of his holster and shot him to death. So, sir, you don't know nothing about guns, and you don't know nothing about gun safety. There is a small child in that car, and more small children either kill themselves or kill other people because they've come across a gun that wasn't properly stored. And so, Mr. Haley, you need to get it right. First of all, your mama doesn't deserve to have to go through this with you. And second of all, if you want to have a future that doesn't involve an orange jumpsuit, you got to start making some better decisions. What kind of phone you got, Miss?
A 14.
The what?
iPhone 14.
I blame your mama for that, because with all of this foolishness you're doing, I would have stripped you down. Everything you would have had would have come from Walmart, and you would have had to send smoke signals before you could talk to somebody. You got a phone that costs more than my phone, and I know I make more than you make. So, Mom, I'm talking to you. That's your mom driving, correct?
No, ma'am.
Who's driving?
My girlfriend.
And that's your baby in the back?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, help me, Lord Jesus. I'm gonna take a moment because I'm gonna need help. So it wasn't just enough for you to be out here on 2 cases. You had to go make a baby. Where you working, Mr. Haley?
UPS.
How long you been there?
For 2 years.
Okay, so these kind of cases will keep UPS from furthering your employment. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't make no more babies right now, Mr. Haley.
Okay.
Condoms are cheaper than child support or child care. I don't care if y'all in a relationship and that's your girlfriend. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is the baby and the fact that you have not shown yourself responsible. So now that you have a child, you need to establish a track record of being a responsible adult. And whoever you had a baby with, ma'am, I'm talking to you. Choose wisely who you have kids with. I'm just going to tell you, choose wisely. Because you had a baby with Mr. Haley while he had 2 cases pending. You had a bit more sense than he could have been in jail right now for both those cases. And you would have had no help with that baby. So please choose wisely who you out here procreating with. Because I see a lot of cases where everybody's mad on the back end. But ma'am, you chose that person. You chose this person to have a baby with. So I'm just going to tell you both, make good choices. That child's life depends on it.
Yes,
So, Mr.
ma'am.
Haley, I'm going to, thankful to Ms. Gatson for her work with you. I know if I'm fussing at you, she's fussed at you. I'm going to accept your plea on 2023 CR 01752. That's going to be a no pros for the court. And on this current case that you're taking the plea, that's 2022 CR 01164. That's going to be 12 months probation, a $500 fine. The fine will be suspended, 40 hours of community service. You're to take a gun safety course and not possess any guns until after completion of the gun safety course. And upon completion of your probation of the gun safety course and the 40 hours of community service, your probation will terminate. Mr. Haley, make good choices, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't have no more babies right now, Mr. Haley.
I won't.
Because, people say that, and then the next thing you know, she probably pregnant right now.
No, she's not.
Condoms are cheaper than child support or child care. You already have 1 baby. If you don't know how much daycare costs, if you don't know how much it costs to have a child, especially a toddler, And let me tell you something else, Mr. Haley. Be a dad, a father, not a baby daddy. Be the person who's there when she's sick and needs somebody to hold her on their shoulder while she's coughing or doesn't feel good. Be the person that if she wakes up in the middle of the night, then, you can soothe her back to sleep. Be the person who knows where she is, when she is, what school she's in, make sure she's in the proper child restraint seat. Be that person. Don't just be somebody who drops off diapers from time to time. Be a father, a dad, not a baby daddy.
Yes, ma'am.
Because she will choose the type of person that she's with based on how you react.
Yes.
Okay? So if you're not a good man, she's not going to be with a good man.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
All right.
All right. So at this point, sir, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with probation. They're going to explain everything that you need to do for probation. The quickest way to lose your job and get rearrested is to fail to appear for your probation reports. If you fail to come to probation reports, that's the quickest way to get rearrested. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Ms. James. Ms. James is our probation expert. She's going to answer any questions that you might have about probation. Ask any questions specifically. In fact, if it involves travel, transportation, your work hours, anything like that, that you may need to have clarified for you, then ask those questions. Do you understand?
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to put you in the breakout room. You do not have to come back to this room. Once you are finished, you just complete your probation as directed.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Make good choices.
I will.
Thank you, Judge.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Gatson.
May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Got Tokyo Guys in here. He did a live this morning where he had Judge Fleischer on and had some good conversation about a pretty touchy subject. How are you doing this evening? It's morning your time, ain't it, Tokyo?
Yeah, it's what time is it? 9:15 in the morning here. I like the background of the fonts. That's pretty cool.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Every day I try to do something a little different, and I mess up sometimes. Sometimes it works out, but we try to do something. I've got an Inside Edition clip. Have you seen the Inside Edition clip with Judge Boyd?
Probably. I think you showed me this a little bit ago, but I don't think anybody.
Oh yeah. I think I showed it to you this morning. So yeah. I'm gonna jump to the Judge Boyd Inside Edition, and we're going to discuss a little bit the Judge Boyd controversy and just Judge Boyd in general.
I'm in court as a spectator is called up by the judge, who then berates her for wearing shorts and taking photos with her phone. The judge even ordered the mom be put in cuffs, and social media is divided over whether or not the judge was out of line.
It's an extraordinary scene in court.
Excuse me, the lady. Excuse me? You, come forward.
A no-nonsense judge from Texas orders a spectator way in the back to step forward right now.
First of all, why are you in this court in shorts?
The woman is stunned. Yup, she's wearing shorts.
I'm sorry, I was just, I don't know, I've never really been in court.
All right, second of all, turn your phone over to the deputy. Do not close it. Deputy Laura, if you'll delete whatever photo she took, please. Who were you taking photos of?
Oh, I was just letting my daughter know my son was okay and they.
No, my question is, who are you taking photos of?
She tells the judge she was taking photos of her son. Unfortunately, it reportedly happened just after Judge Stephanie Boyd of Criminal District Court in San Antonio told everyone, no photos and turn off your cell phones.
If you put her in cuffs, since you want to be next to her son, and put her in the box?
Yes, the mom is handcuffed and taken away. Reaction on social media is mixed. Good for the judge, goes one comment. Everyone knows shorts are a no-no in court. But others thought the judge is out of line and clearly on a power trip, and that the punishment was ridiculously harsh.
You, come forward.
The mom was released just a short time later.
All right, everybody. So that was Judge Boyd. That was back in June 27th. I went back and looked at that hearing, and it was less than 2 minutes of any usable time you know, she was just giving everybody the rules of the day and just talking about it. But I asked Tokyo if he wanted to debate the Judge Boyd recusal hearing because we have different opinions on it. We see things differently, and that's part of being a grown up. You get to see the world differently. I'm gonna knock Tokyo for the first round by saying I think Judge Boyd was 100% wrong putting that lady in handcuffs. I just think she was. I think there's a lot better ways of dealing with that. That lady is probably just as much of a victim as her son's other victims were. You know, that woman, you know, who knows what economic status she's in. That may have been the only clothes she had. Why not treat a parent a little bit better than that? And as far as not following the rules, hell, the lady may not have heard a word Judge Boyd said. She may have been so excited to see her son there, she didn't even think about that. What's your thoughts about that, Tokyo?
Hey, my son's in jail. Yay. No, couple things. Yes, I agree. Judge Boyd was in the wrong for putting her in handcuffs when ejection clearly was called for. Escort her out. You know, if she's resisting, you put her in handcuffs, throw her outside, take the handcuffs off, close the door behind her, lock it. But considering that a lot of judges don't allow photography in their own courtrooms, I don't think that Boyd in this case was wrong to admonish her for it, but she shouldn't have put her in handcuffs. And as far as the clothes go, she's in the gallery. So admonishing her for wearing shorts in the gallery, I don't think is that called for. But some judges run their courtrooms a lot different than others. So what's good for one judge probably won't stick for another judge, like Judge Fleischer or Judge Boyd in this case.
Well, and I completely agree with that. I'm looking at the comments, and Brecken, absolutely, you feel she made the right call. I believe she made the right decision to say something to the mom about it. I'm just saying I wish she would have talked to the mom differently. I wish she would have treated the mom differently. And I'm coming at that as a father of someone who's been in the system. When we went to court, we were treated like we were treated with respect. We were treated as, hey, let's all work through this situation together. Judge Boyd is dealing with hardened criminals. Luckily enough, the court stuff that I was involved in wasn't hardened criminals. It was a kid making kid mistakes. And that's a lot of like what Judge Fleischer does. Judge Fleischer does a lot of misdemeanor courts. And Judge Boyd deals with a lot of hardened criminals. I truly respect Judge Boyd, and I truly respect what she does. You know, even though I disagree completely with what she did, that's her courtroom, and she makes that call. A lot of times I think that the bailiffs, you know, need almost to be ushers at the entrance, and they probably don't have enough to go around. But I know most people don't want to follow directions. And I bet you that lady will, every time she'll turn off her phone from now on. She won't make that mistake again.
Exactly.
But Need Coffee is saying she's just trying to establish decorum. No, absolutely. I get that. I get that it should be established at the beginning when you walk in. Now, if they told her whenever she's going through security, your phone has to be off, get her with a contempt charge, get her with a $50 fee, a $75 fee. I'm just saying there's, you know, sometimes for people, handcuffs is almost traumatizing. And ATX Alley was saying it wasn't her clothes. You're right, Allie. People sensationalize stuff to get it on the internet, and that's what it was. That's why the whole story was about the shorts. It had nothing to do with the shorts. Judge Boyd's just a stickler for that. And when she got her up there for taking the picture, she laid into her about the shorts because that's what Judge Boyd does. And that's probably some of the issues you have with Judge Boyd. Would you agree with that, Tokyo?
Not really. My stance on this whole thing is, you know, if somebody wants to wear shorts in court, if you're not a defendant or a participant in the trial or hearing or whatever's going on, then, you know, it's up to the judge to admonish people, but I don't see any judge going out of their way to admonish somebody for wearing shorts that's just in the gallery unless you're acting a fool like this lady was. But again, it goes back to the level of reaction from Judge Boyd. And for me, she's been known to overreact a lot, even if she is I want to say a felony criminal judge, to the wrong people. And this would actually be a non-issue. Bill, you said it right when we talked about this off camera last night. This would be a non-issue now if what was going on with Judge Boyd with her recusal wouldn't have happened. It would be a non-issue if YouTube and our community was not being indicted right now in multiple states. It would be a non-issue. Nobody would care about it. But this is another checkbox for me, which probably wouldn't have come up if this current situation that she's in wouldn't happen.
Well, I get that. I feel Judge Boyd handled her rough, but I feel Judge Boyd has to command 100% control of her courtroom, because if she doesn't, she's in a mess. Now, as far as the social media stuff, you're never going to stop yahoos on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram from making all types of crazy thumbnails and crazy comments on videos. You can't stop that. That's part of that wonderful freedom of speech we have. But we can, given context, like, just like whenever I showed that to you, your first thought was, well, what's the full context of it? That was about it, because once she got over there to the gallery, I don't know how long Judge Boyd had her sit over there. The lady ended up getting to go, because in the end, the lady wasn't a criminal. Now let's get, but as far as the wearing the shorts, I think the judge can set the decorum, for dress in the courtroom, and you don't get past the doors. It always goes to me of how much staff do they have? Do they have people that can stop people from getting in? Because I'm sure there are judges that allow shorts. In Florida, hell, you see arraignments where the judge wearing a T-shirt. Judge Hayward that we just showed a little bit ago, she was wearing a shirt. She wasn't wearing a robe. But how many times a day do you hear the comments about Judge Fleischer? Why is he not wearing a robe? How can he be a judge without a robe? As if he can't think if he doesn't have that, dress on.
Right. That wasn't my first reaction when I saw Judge Fleischer. When I first saw him, I'm like, all right, he's not wearing a robe. Maybe he saves his robe for trial. I'd never seen him before, and he's wearing, the first clip I ever saw of him, I think, was your clip, where he's wearing this bright blue suit, and I think he had a pink bow tie on, and I'm just like, and I'm listening to him. I'm just amazed. Like how much, he's in this flamboyant suit and he's still commanding all this authority. And that's part of my attraction to his court. Brecken from Michigan says this because he wears Pac-Man suits, which I thought was hilarious too. But yeah, he sets his courtroom a certain way, and Judge Boyd sets hers. As far as decorum goes, I know Judge Fleischer definitely doesn't allow people to wear shorts in court, even if you're in the gallery. Well, most of the people in the gallery are defendants anyway, waiting for arraignment. But a lot of people go to watch Judge Boyd just to watch her. And
I don't think for the last year or so Judge Boyd's allowed anybody inside that didn't have business there. She had some sort of security incident happen, and she locks out anybody. That's the whole idea behind her YouTube channel, is because she doesn't allow anyone in the gallery.
I see.
Like yesterday, Colin had a rock star day yesterday. Colin Cromwell, being in Judge Simpson's court, right place, right time, did the right thing. That couldn't happen in Judge Boyd's courtroom, because she doesn't allow anyone in the crowd to be, just to be a spectator. And if so, you got to get a media pass. That's how Miss Fields gets to do Judge DeSanto. She got a media pass. She got permission before Judge DeSanto got banned. Oh. And so Miss Fields did it the right way. And so therefore she's covered, and, good for her. Jane's got a great argument there. Someone actually asked me yesterday, I haven't told you that, Tokyo, but someone actually asked me yesterday what your issue with Judge Boyd was and why people don't like Judge Boyd. And my answer was, Some people don't like powerful women. Some people don't like black people. Some people don't like people that talk too damn much. Some people don't like people that are very strong opinionated. And I said, and I don't feel Tokyo falls into any of those categories. And that's why we're going to talk about it, because I don't feel any of those describe you. I don't feel you're a woman hater. I don't feel you're racist. I don't feel any of those issues. But Jane makes the comment about there wasn't one female who testified in Boyd's recusal hearing. People need to be smart enough to read the room. Now, there may not have been a female that had anything to do with it, but people need to be smart enough to read the room. You start going after one judge for one thing, and it can look all kinds of wrong. I haven't seen anybody be racist towards Judge Boyd. I haven't seen anyone be sexist towards Judge Boyd. I'm also not female, so I'm not going to see the sexism as a woman would. You know, I can see it from my point of view. I don't feel anything sexist towards Judge Boyd. I think she's a great judge. But people need to be smart enough to read the room.
Exactly. And I'm not the type. Yeah, I grew up with Judge Judy. I grew up with female, with a lot of female TV judges, and I've absolutely no problem with race, gender of the judge, as long as they're fair, as long as they are following the letter of the law, as long as they're respecting the Constitution of the United States, as long as they're treating people with due respect. And I'm not saying all respect, because you know, when you're dealing with hardened criminals, when you're dealing with alleged charges that are serious and newsworthy, there's a certain level of delivery of that respect that you would have to give as a judge. And it doesn't matter what's between your legs. It doesn't matter the color of your skin or how much of whatever you've got. It has a lot to do with respect, and has a lot to do with controlling yourself. You know, Judge Fleischer always says self-control. And I think even with judges, it's the same, because we've seen a lot of corrupt judges, no matter what the gender, no matter what the race. There are a lot of corrupt judges out there that do their thing. Do I think Judge Boyd is corrupt? No, I don't. But do I think in the situation where she got recused, does she deserve to be recused for reasons? And I'd say, and I argue, yes. Reasons that have nothing to do with her person, reasons that have everything to do with her conduct towards, and her prejudice towards certain parties. It has nothing to do with the social aspect of it. It has everything to do with decorum. It goes back to decorum. And she, in the case where she got herself recused, violated decorum as far as I'm concerned. There were a lot of issues there that she said, threw it out. And her arguments were just ridiculous. And I think the complaint was a true complaint. It was a genuine complaint, and not based on somebody being threatened because of her status or because of her power. We need more female judges. We need a lot more black female judges. We need Judge Boyd to come back to herself and to realize that, for me, I want her to realize and do better, realize that she's done wrong by this particular attorney that got the complaint against her. That's what I like to do. She is a good judge. I've seen her do a lot of cases. She is a good judge, but I will also say she's got a lot of growing up to do still.
Well, I was talking with somebody that I respect, and I didn't ask him if it was okay for me to put it out there, so I'm not. But I asked him about it, and I was discussing with him the difference between Judge Stevens and Judge Boyd and Judge Fleischer, and he responded back to me saying, you know, that Judge Stevens and Judge Boyd are just grumpy old men. And I get that. I'm great with that, because I think, you know, it puts them both in the same camp. And I think that once you see so much, you know, Judge Boyd was in the CPS system for a while. She was seeing child cases. And I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know that I could see one picture of a child that was abused and not just give them all the maximum sentence. Thank goodness I'm not a judge. you know, whenever I talked with Judge Fleischer, me and him completely disagree on DWI, you know, sentencing. You know, luckily enough, the legislator puts all the information out there, and the judge has to follow the rules. But for me, you know, I can see that it's just a mistake. I can see that somebody just messed up, but you can there's also plenty of families that are missing family members because someone else made a simple mistake. And so, you know, I do think that maybe Judge Boyd, maybe Judge Stevens, maybe half a dozen other ones have been on the bench simply too long. Maybe they need to take a few years off and go to teaching for a couple of years. You know, that gets into the idea of term limits, and I'm all for that. Ultimately, these judges are elected. And so if if the people in their community feel that they're not doing their part, vote them out. Simple as that. As far as Judge Boyd not following the rules, like you're talking about with the decorum, if I was a defense attorney, if I was that Attorney Goss, I would not like that lady. If I was Attorney Goss, I would be doing everything in my power to lawyer up and do exactly what I'm doing, because that's what he has to do. He has to do it for his client. Hell, he probably makes $20,000, $30,000 off of this argument just off of his client because he's, you know, going back and forth on it. So in the end, you know, we're watching a bunch of lawyers doing lawyering things and, you know, taking personal sides, taking, you know, thoughts about it when it's just lawyers doing that. And as far as the impact on YouTube, there's garbage channels. There's always going to be garbage channels. Hell, there's channels that we see that don't even have a human behind them. You know, there's channels that, you know, don't even know how to, you know, do a thumbnail that's even remotely close to what the hearing is about. So we're never going to stop. We're never going to stop YouTube channels from popping up. I'm loving Jane's comments tonight. Steven is hard to watch me. He needs a beach and a beer. Absolutely. Everyone needs a beach. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to St. Augustine Beach with my wife. We're going to do some videos out there. Nan had asked about doing drone stuff. Yep, they're not allowing any drones in the recovery areas. You have to be able to police that. And so people aren't able to police it. In the end, just don't hurt anybody. But what do you think the solution is for the Judge Boyd thing?
Well, the solution is going to be really, really hard for Judge Boyd, I think. Because now she's got this recusal on her. She's got all this negative press. And the community seems to be sitting on certain sides, depending on which way they look. She's got an uphill battle, but I think also for other judges to keep doing what they're doing, I think is key. Because you had in Judge Boyd's case, there were several documents that were correctly filed by certain attorneys, and she completely ignored them. These documents, I believe, were made before the motion to schedule the trial at a certain time, and were submitted and approved, but she completely ignored them, and even said that she was going to completely ignore them. She misbehaved in a way, misbehaving also means not following decorum, following the rules. She flat out said, I'm going to overrule every single objection you have. I'm going to deny every single motion you have. But please, by all means, make your objections and make your motions. Watch what happens. Which is something that you reserve for a lawyer who was out of line. This individual was not out of line. And then demanded the impossible from the lawyer who'd gone out on a family vacation that was approved by the courts after before the trial date was set, and demanded that he get off at an island or something and take a plane back to court, leaving his family out in open sea.
Well, I think that was just smart ass answer. I at that point, I think they were being petty towards each other, and that falls into that decorum part that you're talking about. You know, when she starts talking about, you know, do they have Wi-Fi at the ports? You know, sure, she's not going to let them zoom in either. So, you know, that's a mute argument.
Yeah, and that's completely. Yeah, at this point, yeah, you're right. They're trading jabs at each other, but she has to be the bigger person because she is wearing the robe. She's sitting on the bench. And there has to have been a better way to admonish and a better solution to this. She should have allowed the Zoom, full knowing that this individual was going to be out of the country and off of land in the middle of the sea. Starlink is live. Most ships connect to Starlink. You can Zoom right in the middle of the ocean. So it wouldn't have been a problem if she had offered that as a solution, full knowing that this lawyer was going to take advantage of the approved vacation time. And she shouldn't have been bickering with the lawyer in open court like that. She should have gone a different route, and she didn't. And I don't know if she's going to survive re-election if she goes for re-election after this.
Yeah, I hope so. In the end, I think if she doubles up and is twice as thick-skinned as she is now, I think if she doubles up and is twice as tough as she is now, she'll gain more supporters. I think Judge Boyd is going to I think she's going to dig in and just continue doing what she's doing. The down effect is I think there's going to be other judges that are going to say, hell, I'm not going to stream because I don't need that drama. There's going to be other judges that are just simply going to say, no, I'm not getting involved in that. I'm not going to do the YouTube thing because of it. I know when I talked to Judge Fleischer, he's the only one in his building that'll do it. I know he's the only one in his building that'll do that. In the end, it's the judge's choices to do it. And so if you're worried about re-election, why would you? Why would you do that? Judge Fleischer, he's awfully kind to everybody. He's just a genuinely good person. After meeting Lewis the other night, I like Judge Fleischer even more because you start to realize it's the culture they have there. When you hear the probation lady, Shatoya, talking, you realize it's the culture. We have a great relationship with that, but there's so much more going on inside. There's so much more deeper going on. And in Judge Boyd's court, you've got tough and nails. You've got, hook and nails. Now, if you listen to her, between the cases, you see them cutting up, you see them joking and stuff like that. And that would terrify me as a defendant. If I was a defendant and I got to see them, the prosecutor and the judge cutting it up, I'd lose my mind. But it also goes the same for like Judge Fleischer's court. When you see the same prosecutors in there every day, you start to realize, oh, hell, they're building a relationship. Knowing Judge Boyd's personality a little bit, you start to say, okay, at what point is she proven to her friends, the ones that are in there every day, I'm gonna give them hell. And look, the case was horrible. The case is terrible. I don't even want to talk about the case. Three San Antonio police officers in the, hell, I guess they end up killing a lady,
Yeah, they unalive somebody.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's the worst possible situation. And so in the end, there's a lot of powerful lawyers coming in. There's a lot of, big stuff going through here. Hey, I'm going to stop and do something real quick. Hey, everybody, Linus is coming to Houston. We reached the goal. We reached the goal with everybody's support. Thank you, everybody, so much. I told Lena she needs to double the goal. That way she can get home. So
and get food when she's over in Texas.
Right. We enjoy Linus. We have fun talking with her, but there's definitely a need. Linus is being very humble. Any of y'all who knows how, about travel, it's 1,500 euros, which means comes up to $1,200. I don't know how in the hell she's going to get a plane ticket that cheap. And so, anything that you can spare, she'd greatly appreciate it. Casey Carey is saying, do you think this pressure to get her to stop streaming? I don't think anything's going to stop Judge Boyd. I think Judge Boyd I think she is a machine. And so
she's stubborn.
Oh, but also driven.
Context either, but she is stubborn. She's not going to stop streaming.
No, but see, I would call her driven versus stubborn. And then maybe that's just, I'm a fanboy of Judge Boyd. I like Judge Boyd. I like what she does. I truly like what she's doing. And so maybe that's, you know, I'll deal with that one. You know, that'll be mine to deal with.
Yeah. So stubbornness and ambition kind of go hand in hand too. So I don't use that as in a negative context. Now, not what Casey Carey was asking. I don't think it's just her they're trying to pressure. I think they're trying to pressure all judges. Everybody should be familiar with the Judge King situation, where after the fact, his YouTube channel and his chat, I believe his chat was on at the time. I could be wrong, but they went after him for having the YouTube channel, and the state of Michigan is investigating that now. I've talked to several people who are in the know in Judge Fleischer's channel, not Judge Fleischer's court in and of itself, and I hold a very different opinion than the people that I talk to. Again, I'm not going to put names out there, but I am in the firm belief that because of what's going on with Judge Boyd, because of what's going on with Judge King, two different states, but it's all one community. It's still an indictment on us. And the legislature is worried that the chat is influencing the judge's decisions. And we're seeing that result of that indictment in Judge Fleischer's chat right now, with a lot more hardcore moderation going on. And I think it's rightly so. It makes it more difficult to say anything other than hi to people that you're with. But
No,
does.
You can compliment the judge's bow tie every day. No one's gonna bump you out for complimenting his bow tie.
Right. But other than that, we used to be able to talk about, to a certain extent, what we feel about a case, like, oh, this is horrible, or I feel so bad, or something like that. Now that's getting moderated too, because that could be seen as, to me, undue influence on the judge. And we see in the beginning of the chat, or the beginning of the stream and at the end of the stream, Judge Fleischer likes to talk to us, and we know whereabouts we are as far as placement on the monitor or placement of the monitor is, because we can see where he's looking. Now, that's also the same place, that's the same monitor that he's using to look up vital information. It could be said that he's reading the chat and looking for opinions. I know it's not the case. Judge Fleischer is a professional through and through, and probably has the chat minimized, if not completely off the screen, when he's looking at the screen. But the impression, if anything were to happen in any case with a judge that has a live chat on, it's going to make it a slam dunk for an appeal. Slam dunk.
Yeah, but anything's a good thing for an appeal. But what happened with Judge Boyd is exactly why everything is so strict in Judge Fleischer's courtroom. And I'll bring up Mother Teresa. I'll bring up Mother Teresa as an example. I'm not Catholic. I don't know anything about Mother Teresa, but I know she is a very revered, very sacred person to a lot of people in this world. And when Judge Fleischer makes a comment about Mother Teresa, I don't think he's being mean to her. I don't think he's trying to be cruel or hateful to anyone. But right. I end up deleting a lot of comments about that say Mother Teresa, because it's insulting to a group of people, and it ends up being overprotective. And you get to the point where everything. Yesterday is a perfect example. You had that trans person, in the court. I've got a million opinions about that person. I've got a million opinions about what's going on there. I didn't want to say a damn thing about it because, one, I don't want to hurt that person anymore. I don't want to make that person's life any harder. But two, right. I don't feel qualified to talk about that because I don't have that. I don't have that around me. I don't understand that. That doesn't demean that person. It just simply says I'm not equipped to talk about that. But when that comes up, you had millions of comments. He's this, she this, he this, she this, he this, she this. And out of respect, I referred to that person as a child. I referred to that person as a kid, because in the end, I don't want to cause that person any more harm. what I feel about it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the world. But what's going on with the Judge Boyd thing definitely makes people a little bit leery. Now, on the other side of that, other judges in Detroit are still streaming the way they were, still have comments the way they were, still running chat the way it was. So even in Detroit, they're not scared. I'm just saying, with all the stuff going on with Judge King, now they're either naive, stubborn, arrogant, or whatever, or they understand the rules to the point to where they say, okay, as long as we do this, we're protected. I don't think so, because I look at their chat and shake my head and, move on to another channel.
Right.
I really enjoyed Judge Perkins. I really like Judge Bryant. I think Judge Bryant is a lot more toned down than she was. I liked her when she was vibrant and raising hell with everybody, because I think that's what it takes to get through to some of these people. But see, Detroit, you would think all these judges that work under Judge McConaughey, you would think they would shut their mouths and they would get in their corner. But no, they're still running chats just like they were. I sent a clip to Linus where a judge in Texas has this chat open and has no moderators, and they're making fun of his name, calling him all kinds of names, just trying to beat him down. I'm sure there's somebody or two in there talking about how they're high on pot, because that seems to be the funny thing to send to people on chats. But I'm just, in the end, it's not going to help anything. That judge is, now I do think he has a defense by simply saying he doesn't monitor it. He doesn't look at it. There's no moderation whatsoever. He can just simply, claim no connection to it.
Right.
But I think the safe route is just to turn it off. So we've got to be awfully careful, because imagine what the chat would have been like in Judge Fleischer's court yesterday with Tristan if there would have been no moderators.
Right.
And just imagine, Jane, like I said, Jane's on fire tonight. I find it a waste of time worrying over chat in the tube that is, as inappropriately has existed long before social media. If you're weak, you're weak. Absolutely. But it's a Brecken saying Detroit's an amazing place to live. You're a brave person for saying that. Remind me.
Indeed.
Brecken, find me in Discord and I'll tell you a really, really funny story about the last time I was in Detroit. I guarantee you will shake your head and you will be so sad and disappointed and you will laugh for the rest of the night. And so, but it was horrible. I'm running through here. Brecken, would you have been in timeout? Probably so. Brecken, she's saying would she have been in timeout? Absolutely. And see, some of the funniest things, some of the people that are in there, oh hell, Tokyo, you've had some of your comments deleted.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm just saying, everybody makes stupid comments. Everybody makes a comment that when someone's having to look through, I think the other day there was 900 people in there and 3 moderators were hustling on it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a lot of time. Anytime that I look at it, every time I look at a message and I'm like, should I delete that? Bam, it's gone. I'm just saying they're super quick at it. And so
yeah, they're on the game. They're really on the game.
They are. There's definitely a lot of hustle in there. Beverly Proudfoot, I am in Putnam County, so I'm right there below you. And so, yep. So Beverly's my neighbor. We don't know each other, but we should. We're neighbors. So, but anyways, Lena says she's got mixed opinions about that one. What do you got mixed opinions about, Linus? Where you're going to go in Houston?
I think they're talking about fast food in the chat.
Oh, as long as it doesn't make her. Yeah, absolutely. And so ATX Sally is saying when we delete comments, it's nothing personal. It's just to keep things clean. And hell, 9 times out of 10, it's trying to delete the comment right before yours or right after yours.
Yeah.
So there's times you're just never going to catch up with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of accidental deletions though too. So.
Brecken from Michigan. I don't remember it at all. Brecken from Michigan saying, trying to figure out which one of you mods in here put me in timeout for the rest of the day in Fleischer's court. We don't remember, or I don't remember. Maybe someone else does. I don't know that I've ever put somebody in timeout for the whole day. I'm kind of not that high on the list. You know, I normally put them in timeout for like 60 seconds or something. But maybe if Linus would stop talking about Cheesecake Factory, we could get her to pay attention to what we're talking about.
They mentioned In-N-Out Burger and Taco Bell, so my ears went right up.
I've never been In-N-Out Burger, and I've been to Taco Bell too many times.
Oh, I regret not going to In-N-Out from when I was in California a couple years back.
I was Casey Carey's size before I went to Taco Bell. And so, yeah, Brad Wolf said he's had one comment deleted and apologized when he saw his comment deleted. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It says, Roland G, I watched too many other people posting their cases. And so she doesn't ever go into chat. Oh, Brecken's on a high risk list. They're 100% out to get her. Oh, they're going to keep track on that. We're going to jump into another court video because we're going to have fun with court tonight. Thank you so much for coming on, Tokyo.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
Look, everybody, go watch Tokyo's live from this morning. He did a Fleischer on Fleischer about the Tristan case yesterday. He had a lot more conversation in there than I'm willing to have, and it was a good conversation on it. You won't agree with everything that was said, but you don't want to watch something that just agrees with everything you got to say.
Right. You've got to push just a little bit on that edge.
So to clean it up, everybody, I'm going to show one of my favorite judges here. We're going to jump over to Judge Boyd. Y'all have a great night.
All right, to the inmates in the box. If you talk to somebody in the audience, let me just tell you what's going to happen. You're going to be sent back to the Bexar County Jail, and we will see you in the month of December, maybe. You all know you're not supposed to be talking to people in the audience. And people in the audience, if you end up talking to an inmate, you're going to be excused from the courtroom. The only time you will be back in this courtroom is if somebody needs you as a witness. And once you've completed your testimony, you will then be escorted from the courtroom. There are rules. There are security issues in this courtroom. So do not speak to people in the box. If you want to speak to them, you need to do it on your own time at the Bexar County Jail. And this is not fast time at Richmond High. So it's not because you're here and I'm here. Doesn't that make it our time? No, it does not. All right, court is going to call 2024 CR 007361, 2024 CR 007359, State versus Johnny Abel Munoz. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Danny West for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Adrian Bettis.
And are you Mr. Munoz?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea in each of these cause numbers on September 10th. You entered a plea and the cause number ending in 59 to count 1 and count 2. You entered a plea of guilty and you pled true to the repeater allegation. And the cause number ending in 61, you pled guilty to counts 2 and counts 3 and true to the repeater enhancement allegation. In each of the cause numbers, the court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty of each counts and found the enhancement true. According to your plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 40 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. There are no applications. The cases were run concurrently. The state is taking in consideration 2024 CR 5164 and 2024 CR 007370. In each of the cause numbers, counsel, you waived PSI, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The court. As though you were spies. If you cannot do that, then y'all need to stop talking. All right, you may proceed.
They were investigating a suspicious person at this motel. When they arrived, they attempted to locate the defendant. And one of the officers was looking down the hallway. He was shot at by the defendant. The officers had to take cover. Several people from the motel from within inside their rooms came out. The defendant at that point forced them at gunpoint to let him in the room. He then let them go, but continued firing at officers. He then also fired at others through the walls of the motel and could have killed several other people. Several people had to evacuate the room. Several people had to lie down on the ground to avoid any type of gunfire. This is incredibly serious. We think that 40 years is more than appropriate here. He could have killed multiple officers and multiple bystanders.
All right, defense.
Judge, this in fact is a serious case, but Johnny has serious problems. And I'm asking that the court give him mercy today. And I am asking for the minimum 15 years. I'd ask the court to take judicial notice of the court's file. In it, there's a competency report that was completed. And in that competency report, the doctor notes a few things about Mr. Munoz, which I think, frankly, should be taken into account and decided his sentence. Mr. Munoz appears to have a mental illness of some kind. It's never been diagnosed, but the doctor did review records, medical records, did talk to his family. His father did have a mental illness, and it's been suspected that Johnny has one. Johnny got locked up at 12 years old for the first time. He has had trouble with drugs and alcohol. He is an alcoholic. And on this particular occasion, he states that he was on a bender. And it certainly doesn't excuse what he did. He knows he's responsible for what he did. But he did what he did because he was on drugs, and he was on drugs because he has an addiction. So we have a cycle that Mr. Munoz has been having to deal with his entire life. And yes, this could have gotten very, very bad. But thankfully, it didn't get as bad as it could have. I think that Johnny needs to hopefully be put in a therapeutic community at prison. I think that he needs a whole bunch of counseling, a whole bunch of classes, and I hope that TDCJ is going to offer that and that he takes full advantage of that. But I don't think that he's a monster that needs to forfeit the balance of his adult life. I think that an appropriate sentence would be somewhere in the 15 to 20-year range, and that's what I'm asking that you do. Thank you.
All right, so I have several questions. My first question is, what is his mental illness?
I don't think it's ever been diagnosed, Judge, and I don't want to tell you that for sure he has one. Frankly, given the facts of this case, I thought from the get-go that I should file a competency exam, also based off of the defendant's initial behavior. That very well might have been just because he was on drugs, but there, as far as I know, there's not been an official mental diagnosis.
So he is competent,
Yeah, oh, yes, yes,
and he was sane at the time of the offense.
yes.
All right. So then here's my next question. Previously, he went to prison for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Is that correct?
Yes.
So why did he have a gun? Because he's not allowed to have a weapon.
I don't have a good answer for that, Judge. He shouldn't have had a gun. And I know that I'm asking a lot, but that's my job to ask for a lot.
No, I understand.
And I know very well, Judge, he might not be he might not be deserving of mercy, but that's kind of the point of mercy, is to be merciful to the people that don't deserve it. I'm just asking that you show him a little bit of grace today, Judge.
All right. I don't think 15 years is appropriate for this offense. For the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, how long was he in prison?
15 years.
So he was in prison for an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon for 15 years. And previously in his criminal history, he was placed on deferred adjudication. What was that offense? Was that the deadly conduct?
I believe so, Judge. The ag assault, he was convicted and placed in confinement in 2008 for 15 years. Trying to find the deadly conduct, he was convicted and also placed on for 15 years.
All right. All right, this is where I'm at. And I will tell you, whenever you go to judges school, they always tell you, say as little as possible on the record, right? But I'm a firm believer that when you explain to people a little bit why you're doing the things that you're doing, so people won't think it's arbitrary. When I was a defense attorney, I would always feel that people were just randomly maybe throwing out numbers. And I'm not saying that the state is doing it in this case. I think the offer that they tendered is an appropriate offer in this case. A lot of times when people have cases that are aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, if somebody's pointing a weapon at somebody, if somebody's showing a weapon at somebody and threatening them, people focus a little bit of what might have happened. Well, this could have been a murder. So you should sentence him to 40 years. I do know that he has maybe some mental health issues. Maybe that's brought upon the fact that he has been in and out of custody since he's been 12 years old. And if you have somebody who's in and out of custody since they've been 12 years old, I know that there is an issue, perhaps parenting, because I don't take the idea that there are bad seeds. I don't think a child is born and everybody says, I knew since the time that child was born, time when they threw their bottle out of the crib or threw up on somebody, I knew that child was going to be a problem. So I think a lot of it has to do with environment. I think a lot of it has to do with parenting. Of course, there are issues with drugs, alcoholism. That really is not an excuse for behavior. So I want you to know that I reviewed everything, and the reason why I remember your case and I remember you, and the reason.
Hey, everybody. They're asking about the red jumpsuit, medical, mental, and this guy's been diagnosed with mental issues, and so that's why the red jumpsuit. That's, I guess, just a way to single them out even more, make them feel even more crummy about life. But they give them the red jumpsuits for medical or mental issues. It just helps distinguish them. And in the end, if he's having a crisis or something weird is happening, that they are able to understand that he's got some medical concerns and it's documented. So, but we're gonna go back to it.
I asked them to give me the stipulations again is because I want to be sure of everything that I read and make sure that my memory is correct on things. Of course, this one is not an appropriate situation for probation because that's been tried with you before. All right. Is there anything you wish to say before I pass ruling? All right. I want to let you know that I wish you the best in your life, but you're going to be going to prison today. The cases will run concurrent with each other. And I want you to know, even though we're dealing a little bit in what ifs, you should really consider what ifs, because you could have killed officers that day. You could have killed people who were just at that hotel trying to get a good night's sleep. You understand? And each cause number, the court will take into consideration 2024 CR 564, 2024 CR 007370. I'm going to recommend for you the therapeutic community mental health unit. I don't know if they'll accept you into that unit based upon your criminal history, but I do know that if you don't request it, you definitely will not be placed in that. I have no jurisdiction to order them to place you in that community, but continue to ask for it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And how old are you?
43.
All right. The court is going to sentence you to 35 years in the prison. And give you credit for any time served. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, I realize that's, oh, and I'm sorry, in each case, there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, I know that's a lot of time. And I realize how old you are, and I realize that prison time is hard time, right? But this is what I want you to understand. One, this is a part of punishment. But two, nobody ever knows how long they're going to live. Nobody ever knows what's going to be happening with parole. But what you need to do is make sure that you get your life in order, right? And be the best that you can be. And at prison, do not become institutionalized, because it's easy to become institutionalized. It's easy to go to prison and become a part of this thing where you're just committing crimes in prison and other people are committing crimes around you or towards you at the prison. Don't become institutionalized. Just try to be the best that you can be each day. And, you know, look forward to go in there with the understanding that, hey, there's a great chance that I'm going to end up getting parole, and just try to better yourself. So when you do get paroled, that you're ready to be in society, do the right things. And if you need to be on medications, to be on medications. And if I'm still here, who knows what will happen, right? But if I'm still here on the bench and you are lost, don't know where to go to get help, you can always come back and see me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And I say, if I'm still on the bench, who knows? Maybe I win the lottery or something. I don't know. All right.
All right.
So good luck to you, okay?
Thank
You're welcome. Thank you, counsel.
All right, there's that. We've got a couple of options left for the evening. We got a Middleton. I got two Middletons. I got a Fleischer. I'll give y'all a few seconds to figure out what y'all want. Linus is trying to get to Houston. Everybody help out. Everybody help out. Linus is trying to get to Houston. All right, we got that one covered. Thank you so much, Tokyo, for coming on the channel. In the end, you know, we're just discussing and debating it, because in the end, we don't truly know what goes on in these courtrooms. You know, we see what we see, but we don't see the stuff behind the scenes. We don't see the reports. We don't see the probation reports. We don't see the victim impact statements unless they read them. And so it's important to understand, you know, just what our role is in being, you know, part of the public. You know, we want to be involved, you know, because in the end, it's our communities that are affected if these inmates are let out, if people are going through our neighborhoods, robbing us and killing us. We don't want these people out there on the street, but we also don't want to warehouse everybody in the country. We don't want to warehouse everybody who's made a mistake. And so it's good that some of these judges, you know, make the decisions they make. And I'm certainly glad I'm not a judge. I certainly couldn't do it. I could not do that job. And so, all right, I got Beverly wanting Middleton, Security wanting Middleton, and we got Fozzie going, hey, Omni Castnet. How are you doing, Omni? It's good to see you here tonight. And I don't know what the hell Tokyo's talking about. Something, I guess he's coming down with some shingles or something. So I don't know. Anyways, ATX Alley saying that fundraiser for Haley is almost up to $24,000. So the young lady in Judge Simpson's court yesterday, the one that Colin helped out, she's almost up to 24,000. So that's awesome. That's great. Good for them. And I'm just saying anything they can do to help that young lady, because, you know, rent doesn't end tomorrow. Rent doesn't stop. And so she needs help out. She needs help to get on her feet. She needs some life management skills also, because she's certainly lost right now. So We're going to jump over to Judge Middleton, then we're going to get out. So here we got 15 minutes.
Hello, Mr. Brown.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yes, sir, I am.
Mr. Milleraams, you're charged with domestic violence, second offense. That's a misdemeanor, punishable by up to a year in jail. And a fine of up to $2,000. It also would prohibit you from using or possessing a firearm. But if it's a second offense, it means you already have a first offense. So maybe you can't do that anyway. Prosecutor has agreed to dismiss that charge for a plea to disturbing the peace, which is quite a significant reduction. Disturbing the peace is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail, a fine of up to $500. Mr. Rognus is oh, now this says DV first. They reduced it further to disturbing the peace?
This morning, Your Honor.
All right. Well, that's a significant reduction. Did anybody promise you to get you to plead to that charge?
No, sir.
Or threaten you?
No, sir.
You still live out at Youngman Road?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this. The complainant here is Randy Bailey. Who is Randy Bailey to you?
My wife.
All right, your wife, all right. And I'm trying to get some facts here. There's a booking form. There's no affidavit of probable cause. All right, well, tell me what happened on September 13th out there at your home.
Well, me and my wife got into an argument over something, and I got mad. I was trying to leave, and I couldn't get out the door, and well, somehow I got punched twice in my face, and then I pushed her like not. I didn't really push her, but I just tried to move her out of the way, and she tripped over something. Over a homemade footstool that I made at my old job, and she fell over and hit the ground, and then the police showed up.
Who called the police?
Her sister, but she wasn't even trying to get a hold of the cops. She was trying to get a hold of the ambulance.
Mr. George, I don't have any facts. Miss Bailey is here, which is helpful, but Miss Bailey, are you in agreement with this plea offer? The reduction of the case to disturbing the peace?
Yes, I am.
All right, that's very common.
And I did stand in front of the door for a reason.
All right. I'm gonna set this for you're already gonna be here on October 28th. Is there a no contact provision?
There is, Judge, and my client is currently on a tether. I didn't know whether the court would allow that the tether be taken off pending the sentencing.
Can you do you have the police report? What happens a lot is there's a domestic assault, and what is true is closest to what happened at the time of the event. Then the complainant is not cooperative or wants less to happen, and so the prosecutor reduces it. Was alcohol involved here?
No, sir. I don't drink.
So this happened on 4th Street. So is that where you were living at that time?
No, that didn't happen on 4th Street. That happened.
Oh, you got arrested on 4th Street.
Yeah, I was at my dad's house in Three Rivers when they found me.
All right. Peyton advised that she was sitting on the living room couch and saw his dad punch his mom first. He swung the door and hit her with it. His dad left and he watched his mom fall to the floor. Peyton says he saw Travis hit Randy 3 times. The caller, Kiera Lawson, says Randy hit her in the head 3 times.
I hit no one in the head that day, officer. I mean, Your Honor.
That's what you told the cops.
I didn't.
Then you were at your dad's house. You wouldn't cooperate with the cops, so they had to get a search warrant to go in and get you.
Right, because I was like, why should I come out there when I didn't do nothing wrong?
Boy, it was a big rigmarole at your dad's house. Miss Bailey, would you come up and have a seat? I don't get much prosecutor input on these anymore. What would you like me to know? Anything?
Well, the reason that fight happened is because like his meds aren't working from Pivotal. And I've called them multiple times and they don't like to call people back or to listen. And he was, I guess, maybe in a manic or mania mode or something. And he was talking about taking the car and going like 100 miles an hour, and smashing into a tree. So I stood in front of the doorway. I pushed him first so that he couldn't go out the door. And then he pushed me away from the door, and then I ended up falling backwards over this, yeah.
So did you cut yourself or anything?
No, I didn't even go to the hospital.
Okay. Didn't they go to the hospital?
Mm-mm.
And what you said is sort of close to what you said that night. Okay, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
What are you doing now, Mr. Millrans? Are you working any place?
No, I'm not working right now.
Okay.
He takes care of me. I have health problems.
All right. I'm gonna lift the no contact provision. Fine is 0. Everything I take from you, I'm taking from your wife. $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, and I'm gonna waive your attorney fee. Back in 22, you were convicted of reckless use of a firearm. You were given a fine that you didn't pay. So I'm gonna kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. You're gonna get 3 days in jail, credit 1. So you're going to jail right now for 2 days. I'm gonna wipe out the fine that you owe. in 222381. You're on a payment plan, the kind where you don't make any payment. I don't think you've made a payment since May of 2023.
I can make a payment today.
I'm gonna wipe it out. I don't want to use your money. Fail to pay fine and costs on a reckless use of firearm. 2 days, credit 0, leaving 2 days to serve concurrent with 241667 SM. The no contact is lifted, the tether is lifted, you're going to jail, the officer will take you. I wiped out the fine that you owe me in that other case. And you owe $125 only, or 2 additional days. So save your money to pay is $125, and then you can get out on Sunday.
Okay, do you know what time Sunday?
We see Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday, probably about now, about 9 a.m.
Okay.
Oh, this can go to my wife. This is my dad's key. He needs that. Oh, you might as well take this too.
Oh, yeah, me or Joey, please.
No, I'm all right. I'll take it out when I get to the job. It's fine.
Oh.
And grandma, she can take this hoodie if she wants.
Tim, here's your police report back.
Okay, and I just had Mr.
Yeah, we'll deal with him and then you're good to
No, he
go.
said
Although we
it's
need
gonna
to
go.
do something about
Okay.
Mr. Valentine.
Call me later. I put more time on the phone.
All right, cool. I love you too, David.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir.
All right, there's that. I think the happiest part of my day was getting to see that guy getting taken away in handcuffs. It happens way too often. You know, husbands, wives, boyfriends, and girlfriends. You know, oh, I didn't push her. I was just pushing her, or I didn't mean to hit her. I was just hitting her. And then it gets to court, and the woman's more defensive than he is about it. And like Judge Middleton said, I'm not going to charge him money because it's just going to come from you. Judge Middleton understands that, you know, it's just going to victimize her over and over and over again. And that's what she knows until she chooses something different. Security, I think I found you a guy. He's got 2 more days in jail, but you can come and get him. But Julie, happily divorced almost a decade. Thank you guys for coming out. Julie was asking when can she send a super chat? So Julie, I got a really odd situation. This channel here is doing really good with subscribers. I've got another channel, American Courts 2, that is monetized, but it's only got around 8,500 subscribers right now. So I'm trying to learn here and build it up, and then somehow flip it or somehow switch. I'm trying to learn YouTube, trying to do it right. Trying to grow the slowest possible right now. I'm literally doing everything I can not to get on the radar. I figured out early on how to build up quick, and it didn't work out well for me. They certainly do not enjoy my brand of YouTube. So, but American Courts 2 is monetized, and I actually have some memberships over there, and so it's kind of neat over there. It's the same stuff. I'm just being real. It's the same exact type of videos, the same exact thing. I deleted everything in August, and so everything's a little bit lacking. I still got to add a lot more, but we're going to get a lot more added, and we're going to do more with it. What's the link? It's YouTube / American Courts TOO, and it's got the same logo. Instead of in black, it's in white. But I will send it out in Discord and put it out there. But right now I'm trying to build it up, but I'm trying to be smart about it. I'm looking at the idea of doing the lives on both channels to see how that works. And so probably for the rest of this year, I'm doing a lot of learning. I'm a slow learner, and so I have to do it slowly and do it methodically. And so we are going to figure it out. But thank you guys for coming out tonight, and I will see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you.